I love the fact that you said to where you feel like you are nothing or have nothing. I feel like what you said was a good point. There's a lot of individuals who love themselves to the point where other individuals look at them as if they are selfish, as if they're, this term is annoying but narcissistic, as if they're so self-centered, as if they think that everything is about them. Self-love does not, no, self-love, when you are loving yourself, I feel like a lot of individuals who love themselves also have those boundaries to where
Hmm.
they're not going to allow certain things to get to them, certain things to bother them.
Right.
Hey, how you doing, Nancy Nance? Welcome in, welcome in. So
Doing
with
well,
it,
thank you.
I gotta ask you, what does self-love mean to you, love?
To me, oh, I just heard you say the word boundaries, and that means so much because it's about making a active plan to care for yourself that includes boundaries so that you're able to. Time, space, energy, situation, people can take you away from the ability to love yourself. So it's prioritizing and then awareness.
I like that. Prioritizing and awareness. Okay. Because literally, like when I said what you jumped in is Mr. Sigmuno, he had spoke briefly about the loving yourself and how some people may see it as like being selfish. And I end up covering it and I was like, I hate the term, but when it comes down to it, some people look as you loving yourself as kind of narcissistic, as if like you're really self-centered, when that's not really what it is. Because and how where you came in when I said when you are loving yourself, a lot of people who truly love themselves have those boundaries as well. They
Oh,
have those
definitely.
boundaries to where they will not allow themselves to be in certain situations or deal with certain things because of the fact that they love themselves enough. They're not going to put themselves in those types of situations. I mean, me personally, I had a moment where I realized I was very codependent, and my love, the way that I felt was based off of the love I was giving or the way that I was making other people around me feel. And that came down to a lot of other things that a lot of root things that come down to childhood and also growing up. So I mean, really doing that work and finding out the root causes of why I feel and do certain things that I do. That right there was a form of self-love, because of the fact that I loved myself enough to try and figure out why I was feeling the way that I was feeling and where it was coming from.
Truly, truly. Self love is loving the goodness within. And when you're loving the goodness within, you're loving the godness within. And that's not egoic.
Mm.
That's not acting from ego. That's not acting from ego. When you love the goodness within and care for the goodness within yourself and others. I mean, if we were talking to God, would we tell God that being self love was loving himself, loving herself, loving itself was being selfish?
I
Hmm.
think not.
Interesting. Interesting.
I love that perspective.
Like true talk, no lie, impossible. Like the first time I spoke with Nancy and the things that she was saying, I was like, "Yo, you're gonna resonate with impossible," and she was like, "Oh, okay."
But
Oh man, so I mean, the fact that y'all both are on here right now, I'm just like, "Oh, buddy, boy, oh boy." This is about to get wild. This is about to be real good because the you drop a lot of knowledge, impossible, and with her, oh my gosh, like let me put it like this: yin and yang, literally like the whole yin and yang symbol, the black and whites. I mean, y'all got literally everything. The y'all can balance like I feel like y'all can balance each other when it comes down to, even if you want to look at the colors, but even so with everything that y'all say, to where it's like, matter of fact, let's just go ahead and get into it and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But rolling straight into it, I want to hit my first little banner, which is going to be the importance of self-love. And this right here, I feel, is what we're going to end up covering throughout the whole show, because there's a lot. I feel that there's a lot that goes into the importance of self-love, because we can branch off of everything based off of just this right here, the importance of self-love. Now, with it, don't all jump at once. Who would like to go first?
well, I
I guess I
mean,
will go
Nancy
first
is
then.
already on the screen. Yeah,
Okay,
Nancy's on
I
the
bet.
screen. Let her go.
Nancy, are you cool with going first? The importance of self-love.
She's right
Getting the
there.
button, getting the button, trying to get the button, trying to get the button. Well, I think that when we learn more about the belief system, the root system that we come from, we're able to understand our own conditioning, and then we're able to expand from that conditioning. So I was brought up in a beautiful Christian family. Godliness, cleanliness, it was all mandatory. My grandfather was kind enough to let me go pick a switch from the forest if I needed it for, getting things clear. And that's how I thought that it was. That's the only way I thought that there was being. And then after recovering from trauma and grief and looking at the many other philosophies in life, I was led on a really cool journey. And that journey brought me to an understanding of Mary Magdalene and the goddess's journey, and how we as human beings have a lot to learn about love. A lot to learn about love, because we've been doing it radically wrong for a long time. Radically wrong. So what's more important than self-love? I guess that's a better question.
Oh, I'm gonna have to type that one in. What's more important than self-love?
Yeah.
Next.
Right.
The importance
I
of
love how you
self-love.
fixed your face.
I think it's beyond just looking at the good in you. You have got to embrace the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, because it's all you. Whether it be not quick to anger, definitely not quick to wrath. Just being able to be one with yourself enough to know what those boundaries are, to know what those limits are, to know what and who can and cannot share your space. I don't just mean your proximity. I just mean everything around you. You don't have control over your coworkers, but you kind of do in a way. There's certain limits that you can put out there without saying a word based on how you carry yourself, how you put out the love you have for yourself, whether it's responding or not responding, whether it's feeding into not necessarily negativity, it's just literally everything that you put out in the world is a reflection of you, how you care for yourself. Like Impossible was saying earlier, the best way to figure out how somebody is going to love you is how they love themselves. So if you are putting out I, those fallacies you see on TV with all the bling and the nails that are so long that makes you question your hygiene, and I mean, for some, it really is. That's extra. It doesn't really take all that, but if that's what makes you feel good, how far do you have to go to make yourself comfortable with yourself? And if that's you, more power to you. But if it's a cup of tea in meditation, a cup of coffee, if it's important. It doesn't have to be all day. It doesn't have to be 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be. There's no time limit on it. But self-sustaining is important. It is very important, because if you can't depend on somebody else sustaining you, it doesn't matter if you're in a relationship or not. Mind you, you have your 80 days and you have your 20 days. But if you have shown your partner what your love language, love level is, they will know when you're at 20, so they can pour that extra 80 they've been holding for you. So they can have that bath ready when you get home from work. So you don't have to cook. We're going to go out for dinner. Those little things. So it's important. And it's even more important when you're single. It's way more important when you're single because there's nobody else watching out for yourself but you. So if you overextend yourself, if you don't take care of yourself, the recovery time from that, what you put out, what people are seeing is sometimes it's catastrophic because you have those people that love, 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 give, feel. And when they hit that empty, then all of a sudden they're not who they say they are because they're no longer giving to me. Well, first of all, why are you depending upon that other person to give to you and you haven't reciprocated anything? Even gratitude is a reciprocation because if you're truly grateful for something, that person is going to know that what they've done for you is appreciated. It's not an expectation. So it's almost a conditioning for those people who give and give and give and give. It turns into an expectation for everybody else that that's just how they are. If they're not like that, they're having a bad day. No, they're not having a bad day. At some point, that doesn't necessarily have to stop, but it does need to slow up so they can get their cup replenished. So the importance is very high, very high. Just to sustain oneself is very high.
I agree with that completely because there's a lot of individuals who do not take that time to love themselves, to take themselves out on dates, to really get to know who they are and understand how they're feeling, their emotions, and why they're feeling the way that they're feeling. And with that, that's where I think we end up getting that term hurt people, because of the fact that they're hurting because they have not taken the time to actually get that introspective about who they are, what they're feeling, and why they're feeling the way that they're feeling. They have not been able to pour that love back into themselves, and they're looking for outside things to provide what it is that they're missing, what they're lacking, rather than giving it to themselves. And when you do things like that, you're neglecting yourself, hoping that someone else will give you the nourishment. And that's from me personally, have been there before, like almost 8-9 years ago. Like when I got done with my divorce, I was sitting there, and the way that I was trying to feed myself was by putting myself in situations. I wouldn't say situations. I was messing with a whole lot of people, trying to make myself feel whole, while at the same time they were constantly draining me, but not really giving anything to me besides something physical. Yeah. In other words, I was in my whole phase. So with that, I thought that me going out hoeing was what I needed. I thought that right there would help me feel complete, when in all honesty, it was draining me more. But going on to you, Mr. Sigma Uno, the importance of self-love. What do you have to add to that?
Most of what you learn about loving anything or anyone comes from how you were raised. And that's when that's when you find out what the design is. If you didn't get the structure or the understanding that you should be loving yourself, and you're in a situation where you're growing up and all it is abuse and use, then that's the idea of what you have coming out into the world. So when that happens, everything you learn, and I've said this before, is a school of hard knocks. So the initial, and I'll just speak for myself, because initially leaving the type of household that was not geared towards me loving myself, and meeting other people, being completely open and supportive to other people, I didn't have a limit. So because I didn't have a limit, 2 o'clock in the morning, call comes, I'm up and I'm gone to help whoever. And 9 times out of 10 it was my family members, my brothers, sisters, my cousins. and I come to understand a year or two ago that none of us really had the structure. So living in the world that we were living in, it was a shock initially. The reason why was because we'd never lived the life before. We never encountered people. So encountering people, we were fully trusting and hoping that we would receive some semblance of love. Um, and becomes a thing of desperation because you feel like you need the love, you feel like you need the respect, you feel like you need the company or the relationship or partnership, but you don't know how to go about doing it. You know, no one tells you what to do. So it took me maybe till I was in my early 30s to really come to the place to where I realized I cannot be sapped dry anymore. There has to be a way that I can replenish myself because what I would do when I was completely drained, I would disappear, gone, and no one would be able to find me. My phone would be off. I would just leave because I couldn't take it anymore. And the only reason why people were reaching out to me is because I showed myself to be a person that was reliable for when they needed something. So coming out of that, the initial thing that I did, and I said this a million times on other podcasts, meditation. Meditation was my first gift to myself. And when that happened, I saw something about myself that I needed to I needed to fully understand. And that day I looked in the mirror and actually seen myself because I hadn't looked in the mirror for years. So looking at myself in the mirror came to realize, hey, oh, you have been completely neglecting who you are or yourself. There's someone in there that it just is not just this marker for everyone to get what they need from you. So the hard part was it wasn't really hard. It's sifting out the people that really didn't matter. That all they wanted was something. So my test was, hey, I would approach them for my need before they approached me for theirs. And when they would turn and run, I'm done. I had to go through my phone and start knocking people out of my, erasing people out of my phone, my address book. I completely shut them out because they were no good for me at all. They just needed something from me, and that was it. Um, it's not easy. It isn't easy to look at yourself, and it feels weird to begin to love yourself because again, people will make you feel like you're being selfish, and make you feel like that you're wrong for taking time to like. I wouldn't even shop for myself. That's how bad it was. I was so guilty about going to buy something for myself. It was horrible, and that's just the small things. Even buying stuff to eat, it was like my mind was in supporting the people around me more than taking care of myself. So when I did kind of break down, and I went to a restaurant that I always wanted to go to, and that's when I really started tasting life. You know what I'm saying? I tasted life. I loved life because it was something I actually wanted to do, and I liked it and I enjoyed it. So it went from that to dinner trains to dinner cruises to driving to Portland every weekend. I just had to pull away and do for myself, and it was an amazing feeling. And you know, there's still work to do because you're not always. You're not. I don't think you're ever fully there. Um, but the tools you have to use to bring you back when you pull out of line is the most important thing. So the tools for meditation, the tools for your daily bread. And I used to do the daily bread, and I still do it. The daily breads to wake up and read, just the things, shaving my own head, and going to the barbershop is okay, but just paying attention to the detail of myself, looking at myself in the mirror, checking out what's wrong, if there's something. This is all loving me. You see what I'm saying? type of clothes I like to wear. It's just a lot. But when you get into
Pause. You said the barbershop. That was like what, 15 years ago?
the barbershop that when I started, you know what? You ain't right. When I started,
I had to do it, bro. I'm sorry.
When I started, me growing my beard, it was all of us. This was part of me saying, "Fuck the world. I'm going to do what the hell I want to do for myself." So I grew this beard out, and I started shaving my head bald because I had a receding line, all the rest of the stuff. But it was just me. I loved doing this for me, and I look at myself in the mirror, full length mirror. It doesn't matter if I'm overweight or not. Hey, this is me. This is my life. I love myself. You see what I'm saying? And when you do that, it's not hard to love your partner. It isn't. It's not hard to want to understand because you understand the things that you went through, and trying to align yourself with you and not just the world. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of where I stand in that.
Yo, big up on that. Big up on that. First of all, I want to say the overweight. I'm like, you have a father figure. Okay, that's you got a father figure. You're not overweight, boss. Okay. True talk, no lie. With it as well, I understand that completely about having to take yourself out to dinner, go down to like the lake, really spend time with yourself. Like me personally, I was a little late on posting everything because I took myself out to dinner tonight. I was like, I need to. I'm like dealing with the amount of people that I deal with and having like with the job that I have to constantly give to others. And if they're wrong, they still are technically right. So with it, it's like in a situation, I'm going to be wrong. That's how I'm going to be looked at. Even if I know that I am right. So with it, I have to remind myself because I'm constantly getting told of the things I'm doing wrong and all those things. With it, I have to remind myself, like, you know what, you're good enough. You are amazing. You are doing things right. So with that, I have to remind myself of these things. I have to give myself that love because if you try and leave it to other individuals, you might never ever get the love that you deserve. And I'm like, the best way to get the love you deserve is by giving it to yourself. And it's funny. It's like one of my rules that I have like at work is if you don't do it, it won't get done. What the flying monkey just happened? Oh. So it just kicked in. I have people on TikTok coming in. It's blowing my mind right now. They are going crazy. So excuse me on that one. You gotta love it. Oh my gosh.
I want to flash back just a teeny tiny bit on what you said. The fine fellow that spoke.
Okay, that just got real.
There we go. That's good.
That just got real. Sorry, that just got real. Like, I need to turn that off. That was wild. Anywho, with it, if you don't give yourself the love, people, hey, that caught me off guard. I was talking, everybody just started jumping in and sending gifts. I'm like, yo, what the world? So I had to think what that sound was for a second. But when it comes down to it, the best love you can receive is giving yourself love. Because if you rely on other individuals, you're most likely going to feel deprived throughout majority of your life, unfortunately. Because everybody does not know what your love language is. They don't know what your love style is. And then also at the same time, I'm like, we are selfless beings. With that, we do have to give to others. We need to have some type of other interaction, whether that is with other human beings or even with animals or nature. We're going to be giving something to something else outside of ourselves. Now, if you're just trying to sit there and be selfish and everything is about you, you're not going to be fulfilled, even if you are giving yourself everything that you think you need. Because just like, for example, Mr. Impossible just had an episode on Dark Matter. That individual thought he had everything until he saw that he was missing out on everything that he wanted. Hey, Impossible. With that, I spoke and everybody else spoke. I'm going to turn it over to you. Like how I did that,
Nancy
don't
was
you?
saying something. Nancy,
Yeah.
you were responding back to something. What were you saying?
Oh my goodness, wrong buttons.
We lost her. She's yin and yang. She's
She
black and
coming
white right
back.
now. Oh, she's
It's
back.
the silly nails. These nails have like pros and cons. Pros and cons.
Oh,
Well,
those long nails,
Fly
the ones that
girl,
Mr.
fly,
Saluna was talking about.
fly one, fly one, the
Hey, tap with your
fly
knuckle. Tap
one.
with your knuckle.
try. Knuckles hurt. The knuckles hurt. Long story there. But when we were talking about feeding ourselves, how often when we're making meals do we ask other people, "What would you like for dinner, dear?" I did that for years and years and years because I was raised to care for others. I was raised to always ask what everybody else wanted first. So it's a matter of finding that infinite flow of love, because as soon as you enter a point of resentment, that's where there's an indication. You spoke about meditation. When it starts to not feel good, there's a knowing there. There's a knowing there, right? You really got to
Right.
tap into that for you. Because if you're always asking everybody else what they want, you're missing the one common denominator, and that's you. So I do want to pass it back to you to continue to start speaking.
Mm.
I appreciate it. You know, self-love. First of all, I want to say where everybody, I'm piggybacking on everybody. I'm only adding the vantage point of the nature of love. One of the issues with self-love is that the nature of love has been so distorted that people, when they give themselves self-love, is usually dysfunctional.
Mhm.
So we first have to take a look at the very nature of love. Now, if you were living in the very nature of love and you knew that when you lose yourself to love, you embody the nature. I was just telling Ira the other day, I don't have to never get up and worry about how I'm going to feel the day in love because I have embodied love. I live in its essence. I live in its substance every single day. I don't have to think about self-love. I live in love every single day, every second, every breath that I take. It is love. It's the thing that sustains me. Yet I understood that I had a dysfunctional nature of love and myself, how I treated myself, how I ate, how I thought, how I acted, how I treated other people. All of those things were a form of self-love, but they were all dysfunctional. They were all distorted. So in order to give good self-love, we first must take a look at the nature of love. What is your nature of love? What is its habits? What is it? What is the thing that makes you function on a very daily basis? Once you can find that out, then you can begin to apply self-love. Because what everybody said is everybody gave you different analogies of what self-love is, how you can tap into that self-love through meditation, through nature, through walking, through running, through exercise, sitting by the lake. There's multiple facets you can have about tapping into love and being one with. The key is to understand love as substance. It's the very essence. When you understand that, it's easy to have self-love because everything that you would do would come from that essence, from that substance. Without that substance, that essence, you're looking outside of yourself, looking for something to fulfill what you were looking for called self-love. And it's difficult to find because it's all distorted. So I would just say that we need to start first with the nature. Look at your nature of love. And once you understand your nature of love, then you can kind of, make your adjustments to really understand what it is that you have to do to maintain self-love through the meditation and working out of things of that nature. So I would say that's my self-love is understanding the nature of love, and then you can love yourself.
I like
Stop
that. I
ticky
like
talking.
that. I'm look, get off my backside, bruh. I'm trying to understand everything that's happening right now. What's good? How you
I
doing? How
know
you
it.
doing, Miss
Good.
Judith Rollins?
Yeah.
I think you spelled that wrong, but I understand what you're saying. Hola. Yes.
So my Geechee family. Yeah.
The Geechee. Oh, wait, Geechee. isn't that that's
The Geechee
like
Gully.
a little
You
like
know,
I want to say down south is a little town or something, isn't it? What? Anywho,
and we got a whole culture. That's a whole
yeah,
different subject. We can talk about that another
yeah,
time.
I know. You did an episode on that. I gotta go listen to it fully.
Yeah.
I saw little snippets from that. But going back to the self love, Miss Nancy
Huh?
Nance, I have something I want to ask you pertaining to with me knowing a little bit of your background.
Mm-hmm.
How important was self-love for you to reach the point that you are at currently? I see a lot of things that you are doing, and by the way, congratulations on that speech that you gave.
Thank you.
How important was self-love to reach the point that you are at now from where you have came?
Oh, wow. The importance of self-love to get where I am to now was the absolute game changer. The voice that I heard in my head every day when I woke up and I looked in the mirror was the voice of the monster that I lived with. And that was,
Mm.
you're ugly, nobody will love you, you're not worthy.
Mm.
Every time that I would pick up my oracle cards or my tarot cards, I would hear voodoo witch. Woo, there's a bee. Voodoo witch priestess. I mean, it was just a constant mantra. So to be able to change that, I had to invest tremendous amounts of time into understanding myself, understanding why I was willing to listen to that voice, and then looking at the pattern of the jobs that I chose, the things that I did, the people that I worked with. Why was I continually in an abusive relationship? No matter where I went, there she was again. It was a male boss, it was a female boss, it was all of that until I was able to see that I was the one that was allowing myself to be
Mm.
everybody's punching bag. So I
Mm.
mean, when you're working as an administrator, I was working as a bookkeeper, administrator slash procurement. I was the most favorite person in the office, and my phone would light up until midnight and start again at 6 o'clock in the morning because that was the expectation because I did what everybody else wanted. And then my physical body started to break down. Every time my physical body broke down, it was an indication that I'd neglected myself. But
Mm.
I'd relapsed like months before my body broke down. Before I got a migraine, I relapsed. It's always that relapse. It's
Mm.
the addiction pattern. It doesn't matter what your life is. You're relapsing into caring more about taking care of others than you are taking care of yourself. How much time do you invest in you? I'm not just talking about the financial investment. Yeah, you got to put some money on. You got to put some skin in the game. You got to put some skin in the game. If all you're doing is investing in free programs, that's like food stamps for the soul.
Mm. I love
Food
it.
stamp for the soul.
Right? Well, it is. I mean, when
Yeah.
I say to
I'm
people
gonna
that they
steal
have
that
to
one.
when they have to invest, go collect bottles on the side of the road. That's one way to make money. I mean, there are so many ways that you can make money. You can start baking. You can, plant tomatoes, sell tomatoes, knit, crochet, whatever it is that you need to do. Because if you're in it, you gotta choose you. If you're in a job that is sucking your living light out of you, why? At the end of the day,
Mm.
if your soul is sucked dry, why? I can't understand that. I was there, and then I chose. Nope, no. If that's your last day, yuck.
Mm.
Facts.
And that
Beautiful.
right there, that I love that because that right there shows the importance of self-love altogether because anybody who is not familiar with Nancy Nance, I'm dropping her episode at the
Oh,
the
thank
last
you.
Wednesday, of this month, so that way y'all can learn more about her. She has a very inspiring and inspirational story from where she has come from and where she was at the time of when we ended up recording that episode. And she's even further than where she was when we recorded that episode. Like, you know how they say doing big things? Like this woman right here, that right there is a good, if doing big things was a person, she's a good example of that. And I thank you for that. And I definitely got to give you a big shout out, because knowing your past and seeing where you are now, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And then to be able to share your story and also empower other individuals based off of your actions and the way that you conduct yourself on a day-to-day basis. I see you on live doing your podcast every day. And I'm
Monday
just
to
like,
Friday.
well, dang.
Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday. Weekends, I've got
Yeah.
other things that I have to focus on, which is the self-love component.
Mhm.
That's the self-love component, right? Like you've got to schedule time every day. In the next month, the way that the planets are going to be shifting and changing, we all need to do more earthing. We need to stick our feet in the soil. How many of you men rub your feet every night?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm sometimes afraid to touch my feet. Just being honest.
I put shea butter on my feet and rub my feet every night. Not some nights, every night.
I got them Talons, boss. So I don't know.
Listen, I don't care. Apple cider vinegar and some shea butter. That's what I do with these old rusty feet of mine. But I'm gonna take care of these things over
You
here,
got
bro.
them, you got them shimmy shiner. You got those dang near walking on butter.
What
You got them
Hey,
smooth.
listen.
You got them let your soul glow type
Listen,
feet, boss.
listen. The one thing a woman don't want is them old crusty hard ass nails scratching her damn feet under the cover in the middle of the night. Anybody want
Yo, I
that
feel
shit,
like you're
man?
taking shots. I feel like you're
Nobody want
taking
that.
shots, okay?
I ain't
Because
taking no
my
shots.
wife
I
was
ain't
so
taking no
before, she was
shots.
like, "Babe, cut your nails." But I mean, you can
Okay, well, then I ain't
feel
got
the
nothing to do with
conviction
that.
in her voice where
All
she's like, "Cut your nails," type deal, you know. So
Mother,
yeah,
okay. You can goddamn draw
I've been
blood in the
doing
bed.
better.
You don't draw blood. So yeah,
Look, no
I
comment.
definitely
No comment.
clip
I
my
digress. I'm
toenails.
going back. I'm going
I
back
got
to
the
the
whole
topic because I feel like right now I'm
I
just
got the
taking
whole
multiple
pet
shots. I'm
egg.
not
I got the
Neo,
pet
bruh.
egg for my feet. Everything. I got everything for my feet, boy. I got the pet egg. Everything. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nah, I got the
Well,
Afghan
my
feet,
wife,
bro.
well, my wife makes sure my wife makes sure I have pedicures and manicures, so I'm well taken care of.
Oh,
Thank
look at
you
that.
very much.
Oh, look at you.
My man.
Look
My
at you.
man. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm over
Yeah.
here with like I got that feet that's equivalent to somebody who's been walking on asphalt
King
for
Kong.
45 years. Hey, y'all remember that episode of Dave Chappelle with
you got
Tyrone
that King
Biggins
Kong
and he's
jungle
doing the what was it, Fear Factor? He's walking on the coals. He's like, oh, what's that? Y'all smell that? That smell good. What's that cooking? Like, I feel like that's me right there.
Oh man.
Going back. Which is crazy because Nancy Nance already kind of hit on this, and so did you, Mr. Impossible. Mr. Impossible. What are ways to show yourself love? Miss Nancy Nance, thank you, because you spoke about the hobbies and things that you were doing. Yo, Mr. Impossible, Judith Robbins said, "Amen." Hey, it's good to have a man with soft feet.
Trying to tell you, man. I had some good feet, bro.
I gotta work on. I'm not gonna lie. When I was in the Marine Corps, I remember I got my first. What is it? A pedicure with your feet done? Yeah, and I tell you, like, I'm pretty sure all those little Korean women in there was talking mad stuff because I walked in, I put my feet in the water. She said, "Oh God," I was just like, Anyway, moving on. When it comes down to what are ways to show yourself love, Mr. Impossible, since you're on, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you, and please don't say anything about the feet because, yeah, making me feel like I don't show myself love.
All right,
so you said me or Mr. Impossible?
Oh, sorry. Oh, Mr. Sigma.
He said me, but you want to agree.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Me.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Y'all both got the salt and pepper beard looking like Denzel Washington stealing all the women. So I don't know. I mean, correction. Mr. Impossible is doing that. Mr. Sigma Uno is a very faithful man.
I ain't stealing no women. I ain't stealing shit out here. Leave me out of this.
You astral projecting
So
into people's dreams. Don't play. You got a whole new
So the
definition
thing
of being in
is-
someone's head. Anyway, continue, Mr. Sigma Uno.
So the things I do during the course of a day that equal to self-love, and I call it my toolbox. Meditation is a huge part of all of it, period. I do, besides that, it's prayer. I'm super spiritual, so a lot of things regarding spirituality are things dealing with yourself and the universe and everything around you. So that's kind of the biggest part. Other than that, it's spending time with my wife, talking to my kids. It's just taking in my creation, because we've created a lot of things, whether it's a relationship, my children, my job, my business, everything. It's all a part of the world that I created for myself. So, but the pull away from that, even for that, is to go to the water. That's the number one thing I do. Get away from everybody, go to the water. The other thing I do, I know you said don't mention it, but the manicure pedicure is, you got to do it, man. I got to drag you out there to do it, because once you do it the first time, you'll be running back. I promise you. So I'm gonna have to drag you over
Hey, Impossible, you coming with us?
there. We're gonna have to do
You getting
it
your feet done with
because
us?
Don't take Impossible. That's
I don't.
myself so bad.
Listen. I don't mind doing my feet, but I just don't like. I don't call it what you want. I don't pay nobody to do my feet. I do my own. I got all the equipment that I need right here. So I just really don't see me
I
paying,
mean,
going to
okay,
the barber
all right.
shop. Like, I know how to do all of it. So I just do it. That's part of my
That's it.
self-love. That's part of my self-love. Just
And
I
there
do
you
that
go.
for
There you
myself.
go.
It's just
There you
me.
go. I was just thinking of like a grown man outing, but all right, that's fine.
Well, you
But
can
that's
just
not
go
when a
watch.
grown
You
man
don't have
out
to
in that
pay. Just go watch. You don't need to pay. Just
But
join.
I've been in. Okay, I'm not gonna make this a whole foot show, but I have had pedicures before. I have gone to the shops. Those little
Did
Oriental
we just create a
Chinese ladies do
fetish
such good.
podcast?
We they have done wonders on my feet. Once I learned and I got the tools to do my own feet, I just couldn't see myself going to pay somebody to do my feet. That's all. And if I want my feet rubbed, I get a trade off with my granddaughters or my daughter. I'm like, I give you that foot rub. And
Why are you gonna
give me
torture
that
them
foot
like that,
rub
bro?
back.
Like that's me.
You
That's
know
like
what
me
I'm saying?
telling my son
What
and
you
my daughter,
mean?
"Hey, come rub my feet." Matter of fact, that's like
Hey,
when my grandma used to tell me.
whoa.
Yeah, I said it just in case she's listening.
See?
When my grandma used to say, "Come rub my feet," and I'm just like, "Are you serious? For real?"
Yes.
Like no child wants
Full
to rub
massage.
an adult's feet, bruh.
But
And
let me
here
tell you
comes my
something.
son, really bad.
My granddaughter loves rubbing my papa feet. Okay, it's a mutual thing. I rub her feet, she rub her papa feet. It ain't just I'm throwing my feet and like rub my feet. I work today. No, that don't work. And she'll tell you, you don't rub my feet, I don't rub your feet. And she know how to do the little knuckles in there. I taught her how to rub feet, man.
All right, let's move on. Because somebody, hey, YouTube's gonna throw this in the algorithm of ASMR. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to the topic.
Oh wow.
I don't even know what those initials mean. I don't even know what those initials.
Look, bruh, I'm not gonna have nobody rub my bunions.
That's cool.
Okay?
Don't even tell me. Yeah, don't even. Man, you crazy boy. That's a.
But
yeah,
as you were saying, back to you, Sigma.
Okay. Here lately, the most enjoyable thing is spending time with the grandchildren, because you're watching them and you're part of their development. So I mean, and the personality is just amazing, just to watch, and you just realize that, hey, this is I have a part in influencing their future. So for me, that's that is spending quality time with the grandchildren, just hanging out and just teaching them little things at little bits and pieces of things at a time, and watching them take a hold of it or rejecting it or whatever. But just the time with them is just, it's amazing. It is. But yeah, what does that say?
Judith Robbins, she says she gets her feet done. I asked, I was like, who gets their feet done? She's like, me.
But yeah, so that's one of the things. That's the other thing, and just I think building right now, the whole idea of building and creating a world that is ours is important, and that's it's for me. It's not just for me; it's for my family, my wife, my children, and I deserve that. I work really hard for all of this. I deserve it. So to build something I actually want and to pick something I want and to have that is important. To build something and to watch it flourish and to know when it's time for me to take off from here, I left something behind. I want that. I want it from me. And I want that. I want to live that, because the world makes you think that the only agenda is the agenda that they set for you in social media and all the rest of this stuff, but that's not the truth. It isn't. I learned that you have to pull away sometimes and build your own. This system has progressively gotten very interesting, but at the end of the day, what I've learned from this system is I got to build my own. I can't mess around with it anymore. So pulling away and going to peace and having what we want and walling off from the rest of the world is important. So building this is an amazing thing, and it's for me. I love it.
Okay, the ways that I show myself. Um, now that I'm retired, that looks different. It used to be that morning trip to Starbucks. Don't laugh. Yeah, it was.
My bad. Y'all have no idea. Like we've got like 4 boxes of Starbucks cups. That's why I was laughing.
Hey, you got the point. You might as well. Some of those cups are really cute.
Starbucks will start buying cups from you to replenish their stock. Okay.
Now that I'm retired, I'm not always on the run. The things that I used to go get done, like my hair and things like that, to actually put a mask in your own hair and sit under a dryer at your own leisure is a wonderful thing. To go in your bathroom and close the door and sit in that tub and just melt away is a wonderful thing. I did pick up another crochet project that did not take as long as I hoped it would, but I think I have to pick up another one. I only got how many boxes? 4. So my yarn collection equals my Starbucks cup collection. So I mean, I've got plenty of outlets to pour myself into as far as that those moments of self-love, that moment of self-reflection and things like that. But I think since I'm in this place of like evolution, I'm just kind of waiting for the dust to settle around me a little bit so I can find that new something. Because the old things are great. I'm ready to transition into something else. I just don't know what that something else is yet.
Beautiful.
Who's next?
Miss Nance, go ahead.
Oh goodness. For me, I set my alarm for 5 o'clock in the morning every morning, and I get up early, and I do that so I can enjoy my coffee. My coffee, my way. My coffee, my way has changed over the years. And for me now, it means coffee with oat milk because it tastes really good. And then honey. I make honey with infused fennel in it. So that's been what I've been enjoying this week. Sometimes it's honey with anise, and it's always with meditation, quiet time, prayer, and a good book. So that for me is self-love. Morning time for me, and evening time for me too. Evening time was with me and the one who I share my home with, my guy Ralph, and that is very important. And we don't have to be doing the same thing. He can be listening to his sports on TV, and I can be reading a book, or I can be rubbing my feet, back to the feet. Whatever it is that will solidify what I have enjoyed for the day, and celebrating my successes. At the end of the day, I celebrate my successes. Very important.
I think I'm
Very
gonna change
important.
I think I'm gonna change the name to this podcast to Standing 10 Toes Down on Love.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Oh gosh.
That's oh man. I don't know how we keep. I mean, when it comes down to it, in order for the self-love, that right there is another way of grounding, right? So I can understand how the feet
Yeah, well, I
keep
mean, you
popping up
should,
into
yeah.
this conversation, unfortunately. Oh man, it's hilarious how the whole body plays a part in things that we need to do for ourselves. And when it comes down to grounding, a lot of times that is, oh gosh, please don't be something with feet. What does it say? Big bottom. I don't even know how to say that word. Bad knees, domestic violence survivor. Oh wait. Oh my gosh. Okay. Judith Robbins, I'm gonna need you to dig a little deeper in that and explain some, because I'm not gonna lie. When I saw big bottom, aloe, that's like me saying Mississippi. Yeah, that word.
Is it saying
The state.
alopecia?
Yeah, alopecia, bad knees, domestic. First thing that pops in my head. First thing that pops in my head was, you know what it is, right?
No, we
Beach
don't.
blonde
We
man.
don't want to know.
Yeah.
Don't say.
So that's what I was like. I was like,
Yeah,
oh gosh. Sorry, but that's has nothing to do with
say.
self-love. But yes, Judith Robbins, I want you to go ahead and explain a little more on that, because I asked, what does self-love look like to you? And you said big bottom, bad
Yeah,
knees,
that
domestic
don't go.
violence
Yeah.
survivor. I'm like, I don't think
You
that's
may
self-love. If that's
read that
things
again.
that you have
Read that again,
survived
buddy.
through, I can understand. But I don't. I think our ideas of self-love
Read
are
it again.
if no, I'm not. I'm not. Because the only thing, yeah,
Not
self-love
you,
is me
the person who
accepting
wrote
me.
it down. Yeah.
She says self-love is me accepting me as I am. I was about to say as I is. I was
Okay.
like, come
Yeah.
on, you used to get on me all the time. No, speak English. So self-love is me
Don't
accepting me
take
as
me
I
there.
am. That's my mom. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She used to mess with me all the time. I'm like, my bad. She's like, it's not your bad, it's your fault. Like, she was big on proper English, proper grammar. So with her doing that, I was like, ooh, I have a chance to get back at her. Self-love is me accepting me accepting me as there you go. Speaky Bonics, I got you. It's on record now. But with it, ways to show yourself love. Like I said, today I was a little late because I took myself out to dinner. I indulged in fine dinery. I was bougie. I drank my little martini with my pinky up. It was fine. Yeah, and what? The manager actually came over to me and he actually made me a drink, and I was like, ooh. And then I got to talking with some of the people who were working there, and I think it was just because of the fact that a lot of people come in there with other individuals. I was in there by myself, and it was like kind of like a high-end restaurant, fine dining type thing, and I'm by myself. I was there just to enjoy my own company. And one of the things that I do for self-love is I people watch. I learn from watching other individuals, and sometimes I create stories for them. And with it, sometimes if I'm feeling bad, I'll create a story of, hey, I don't care. I said it. I'm sticking to it. Sometimes when I'm feeling down, I'll people watch and I'll make stories about individuals who I have no idea about. And I'll sometimes end up coming up with stories and things that's going on in their life that may or may not be true, most likely not true, but it'll make me feel better about myself. Like, you know what? There's always somebody who's doing worse than you. Or either at the same time, you know what, you can elevate yourself into a position that they are in. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and give an example of a story I did. You can ask Lori about this one. I think she walked in when I was doing that. So I was at a different store. We call it the truck stop one time. We call it the truck stop. I was in there and like this one lady walked in, and with it, I'm not gonna say she looked homeless, but she looked less fortunate. But what I did is I was like, in my head, I was creating a story, and I'm like giggling and everything because when she walked in, her little shoes was squeaking. It was raining outside. They're squeaking. She walked in there, so I was just like, oh. And then like looking at her, and I was like, I bet you this lady's probably walking around acting like she's homeless. She should probably turn the corner and get into a Mercedes Benz, drives off like, haha, y'all just gave me an extra $500 for the day. So I was laughing. I was like, look at that. Everybody probably looking down on her, and she's actually looking at them like playing y'all a fool. So I was laughing. So when she came over and she was like, had, I think, a Snickers bar, she had like a piece of candy. And I was like, that's all you're going to get? And she was like, yeah. I was like, do you really need that? She was like, what? I was like, do you really need that candy? She was like, no. I was like, you look like you need something sweeter in your life. I was like, you probably got like 2 or 3 men chasing after you right now, don't you? You probably got burner phones because you got people hitting on you all the time. She was like, what? No. She was like, I'm a lady. I was like, hey, doesn't mean that the fact that you ain't got people chasing after you. And she was like, look, I don't know if you watching me, but if you are, tell them to leave me the hell alone. I was like, bruh. So right there, I was just like, it's like she played into the little story I was creating in my head, and it made me feel good because of the fact that even though she looked how like something that a lot of people look down on, she still had that, what's the word I'm looking for? Humor going around in the world. So you can tell that she, even if she might not have been comfortable in the situation she was in, she at least loved herself enough to continue on rather than be a Debbie Downer everywhere she went. She was still able to find joy in life. And that right there made me happy because with it, you don't know what she may be going through, or even if she is completely stable, but at the same time, she loves herself enough to be happy in the skin that she's in. And that right there, I was just like, yes, yes, yes. And that's one of the things where it comes down to the self-love, because no matter how far low you may think that you are, if you love yourself, you'll always be able to pick yourself up from any situation that you're in. And I mean, with it again, I have to tap back into what Mr. Impossible said on his podcast that he recently did, when it was talking about the realities. And you always are shifting when you wake up, depending on how you feel is the reality that you're going to put yourself into. So if you're sitting there and you're walloping into, oh, my life is crap, and you're over there doing Eeyore, of course, every day is going to look like Washington State, dark, gloomy, and raining, and the rain's going to feel like smudge crumbing down your body. If you're sitting there and you wake up and your house is on fire and you're like, I got all my belongings and my car still drives, even though I'm riding on E, but I only got 5 miles to go and I can make it there. So it's like, I'm good. Boom. You're still living in a time of happiness because of the fact that you're finding those good things. And with that, I feel that the best way to find things that are good in your life is first to find good in yourself. When it comes down to self-love, that right there is finding the good in yourself. Being able to see that light in yourself makes it to where you can see that light in everything else that is around you. If you're constantly looking at the dark in yourself, if you're constantly focused on the negatives in yourself, then all you're going to be able to see on the exterior are negative things. Because how are you going to sit there and try and shine light on anything where you're constantly developing in darkness? Oh gosh. Let me go into what Miss Youth Rodman says. She says, I show me love by manicures, hair done, making others smile, some wine, cheese, and crackers. Ooh, when you drink your wine, put your pinky finger up, Miss Judith Robbins. That's my mom. That's my mother. Really? Hold on. No, I gotta throw you on the screen. Nah. Don't hide it now. Don't hide it now. I saw that. Bad and
Put my
bougie.
pinky
Hey.
out. Put my pinky out on that motherfucker. Might give a fuck. I'm going to go along with what Nancy and Mr. Sigma Uno talked about. Meditation is definitely one of the tools that I use to show myself self-love every single day. I also yoga every single day. Exercising, running is definitely one of the ways I show myself love. Writing is another way I show myself love. A great book, that's another way I show myself love, is to educate myself. The more I educate myself, the more I show myself love. The more I can have compassion for others. The more I can have compassion for others, the more I can have compassion for myself, and the more I can reciprocate that love to others. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to, again, show love to yourself. How do you show love to yourself? What ways you show love to yourself? You know, everybody got habits and hobbies. Find your habits and hobbies and show yourself the love. Give yourself the peace. You know, I meditate at least twice a day. I burn charcoal with frankincense and myrrh and menthol and prayer beads, and that's how I sit down. I deal with a lot of symbols and signs. I'm gonna do my closing remark while I'm going through this right here. And so my closing remarks would be to everyone that's out there that's dealing with self-love and learning. So, you know, some of you out there probably learning self-love. That's why I made the statement earlier about the nature of it. You know, some of you may be dealing with love, but your love is distorted. Your love is from. So you may need to, you know, you may need to get down to the root of what and how you define love. And then once you get to the root of how you define love, if it's not what you want, uproot what you did, plant what you want, and water it every single day. Water the type of love that you desire. Educate yourself about the emotions that you're going through, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. Those are all ways to self-love. Self-love is the most, they talk about the most important thing to do in your life is self-love. Because that voice when they say that voice in the head changed everything, trust me, that voice in my head changed everything when it came to self-love. Because there was nobody there. And when you running 5, 6, 7 miles, trust me, you're gonna hear a voice. One gonna tell you stop and one gonna tell you to go. Who you gonna listen to? That's part of that self-love. You know what I'm saying? When you in martial arts and you going through things and you getting tap, pop, 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 pop. After a while, you gonna want to quit because motherfucker busting your ass and you damn it, I gotta keep getting back up.
Especially if you get a
Got
liver
busting
shot.
your ass. Yeah. So those are all different ways of just showing yourself self-love. Self-love is a way to how you treat yourself. Self-love should always enhance your life. It should always be an enhancement to others. It always should be a way that you grow in life. Again, self-love should be a way that you enhance your life, the way you enhance others, and how you grow in life. All of those things are signs of self-love. If you're not growing, you're probably not self-loving. If you're not helping others grow in your life, not no self-love. And if you're not growing, no self. So with that, I'm saying peace, love, prosperity.
Respect. I'm gonna have you go ahead and go next, Mr. Sigma Uno.
My closing remarks is gratitude. Be grateful. If you haven't had time to sit back and be grateful about what's happening in your life, the things that you enjoy, the breath that you breathe in your body, the good people that are around you, the earth and all its beauty outside of the negativity, be grateful. Just be grateful. Be grateful that you're alive. Be grateful that you're loved. You're loved by someone. So just be grateful. That's my closing remark.
So I guess my closing would be for anybody that is not on a path of daily replenishing your self-love, just start. And if you don't know where to start, take an inventory. Take an inventory of the things of how you were raised and what love looked like, and is that still love for you? If that's not still love for you, if you didn't feel that that was love when you were growing up, change that. Change that and make it suit you and what your life is now. Make it a habit. It's a good habit to have. Loving yourself is a good habit. Not all habits are good. This is a great one. Make it something that's mandatory. It's not something that you can skip. It's not optional. So if that means you're not going with whoever, wherever, that just means you're not going that day because you are more important than anything else that's going on.
Okay.
If you haven't taken care of yourself, if you haven't replenished yourself, if you haven't got yourself on an even field, there's no way you can be balanced enough to help anybody else. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay. It's okay to say no. It's okay. It's okay to put yourself first. It's okay. Especially for those that were raised in those Christian households where you have to give your last. You have to give your last to yourself first. You have to give your last to
Fact.
yourself.
Fact.
You have to. You can't give out the last seeds and expect to have something to plant. You have to give your last to yourself.
Say it for the people in the back.
Say it loud, say it proud.
Even in having those last seeds planted, you got to give that last drop of water to those seeds that you planted. It's great that the neighbor's garden is flourishing, but if your backyard looks like a valley of dry bones, that's not going to be helpful for you. The grass may be greener on the other side. Water your own lawn. See what you can do away with that.
That made me think of that Lion King where he's like, "Daddy, what is that? What is what? That dark spot? We don't go there."
Don't use the movie. I can't remember what movie it is, but if somebody told you that love is the equivalent of them giving you their last of something, no, you do not want the remnants of anybody's anything. You don't. I don't want the leftovers. I don't want what you just hear. If you haven't got it in you to give your best, then you don't have it in you to give. Fix you. Complete you. Nobody else can complete you. Nobody else can fulfill you. You have to take care of yourself. And again, it is okay to be selfish.
So with that, I have Miss Judith Robbins who decided to jump on camera and bless us with herself. I think she wants to say something as well. You have the floor. I'm not sure if she's frozen or I don't know what she's doing.
Get no feedback. Okay, so I get your question.
So with it, we had multiple questions, but the last one that I had asked in the chat was,
Okay,
is there anything that you wanted
when
to
I
add?
hopped
Closing
on
remarks.
initially, closing remarks, anything?
I'm gonna need you to get closer to the Wi-Fi. I'm gonna need you to get a signal. You're too far. You're real choppy right now. All right. Houston has left the building.
Whatever the case may
Houston is
be,
back.
but I love me. I love me. I have love me. And if I listen to what other people say, negative comments, that's why because
You're still real choppy.
because
You're still real choppy.
I have to fit my image.
All right. Once she gets that fixed, I'll have her come back on. As of right now, I think she's still freezing. Okay. So Judith Robbins, once you get that fixed, just give me a thumbs up so I can see that you're good, because right now you're still frozen, making that face. I'm not gonna do you like that, so I'm not gonna have you up here frozen like that, okay? But for everybody who doesn't know, she's like this. But yeah, so all right,
Can
I
you
think
hear
she's
me
good
now?
now. Yes, I can. You
Yeah,
just
I
need
had
to
to come
get a
back
little
on the
closer. I
inside.
think
I
that's
didn't
all it
want
was.
to. Yeah, internet. I don't know what you heard, what you didn't hear, but the gist of the thing is, you gotta love you for
We
who
heard
you are
nothing.
and what you are. You can't, huh?
We heard nothing. So just do it all again.
You had heard. Oh wow, I gotta go through all of that again.
Hey,
You have to. The comment that I put in there about the big butt, the alopecia, the bad knees. I love all of that. I love all of that. And I watch all of these sites where people are just ragging on each other on how they look and the clothes that they're wearing and all this and that. It's okay to be that way. If that's what you have, then that's what you have. You have to love you. And as Toodles was saying, it's you got to be selfish, but don't be a narcissist. You have to be selfish because no one on this earth is going to do for you what you do for you. And once you get that in your head, it's like your mental health is dependent upon you loving you. If you don't care about you, if you're not taking care of you, you will become depressed. You will become suicidal. All because you're not fitting the image of this world. It's not about this world. It's about you surviving in this world. That's what it's about. Everybody got their own issues, but no one wants to admit that. They will transpose their mess onto you, and before you know it, you're running around here looking like you're looking because you're not fitting that image of what they want you to be. Be you. There's no greater person than you can be than to be yourself. Gotta love you. I get my manicures, my pedicures. I get my nails done. I get all that done because I want to look good. I'm gonna look good. As long as I have breath, I'm gonna look good. I might be looking good with a cane, but I'm gonna look good. I might be on a scooter, but I'm gonna look good, okay? Because I'm here, and that's all that matters. I'm here. So while you're here, live, enjoy life, do it. Just do it. So that's my closing argument.
Nike. Oh man, I love that. I love that. I'm sorry when you said if I'm in a scooter, I'm looking good. I was like, bruh, no. In this day and age, somebody gonna look at you and be like, "Ooh, that's a gilf."
Hey, I got this thing where I saw it online the other day. Somebody stole my my OP. They were talking about old people. I got this thing where I say OPR. Old people rock. I don't care how old you are. Live. You want to look good, look good. Wear what you want to wear as long as wear what you wear. I would contradict myself as long
Thank you.
But style is not for everybody. I put it that way. Style is not for everybody. Fashion is not for everybody. Look good. How's that? Just look good. No matter what you're doing, who you are, how old you are, enjoy life. Look good. That is a mental thing. It's mental. It's all mental. All mental. If you I didn't want to get back on that rant, but what comes out of your mouth, be it positive or be it negative, it dictates your being, shall I say. Happiness is a mindset. You can't get it from somebody else. It only comes from you. Joy is a mindset. Achievement is a mindset. Perseverance is a mindset. It's a mental thing. And if you put your mind to doing anything, you can do it. If you put your mind to believing anything, it is going to happen. It will happen. So live, love you, and live. Be you.
That's the definition of you create your own reality right there.
Dark matter.
Wonderful.
Already,
what?
we already created.
Dark matter.
We already created.
What door will you open today?
Amen.
I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, I feel like everybody in here has watched that but me. Like, I need to go catch up. This ain't fair.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm telling you, you do.
Hey,
You
what
do.
you say is
You
all
need
a
to catch up,
mindset.
man.
It's,
Right.
it's all a mindset. I mean, mama
It's-
mama got it. She told you what it is.
Mhm.
She tell you what love
She's been
is, how it
telling me
comes.
my entire life. I just now understand what she's talking about.
Well,
Mm.
late. It's never too late. And what the people told me, it's never too late.
Nope, it's not. If you need the sign into Apple TV, I got you. But you need to watch it.
We're
Which door you
not saying that.
Yo,
We're not,
matter of
we're not
fact,
really saying that on YouTube. We're not really saying that on
Oh, sorry about
YouTube.
that.
we haven't. I realize
Can
as
we
well
cut that part?
something we have not done. You said cut
That's
that out.
love.
Okay,
That's
all right,
love.
we'll do.
That's love.
We'll cut that out. But hey, something we have not been doing lately is talking about what our next topic for the next week is going to be. Something that just happened
You
and made me
echoing.
realize. I'm trying to figure out how to say this and get what it is that I mean out while saying it.
Say it. We'll rearrange it.
It's not so much. I mean, this is important as well, the importance of parents, but not taking the teachings of your parents for granted.
Mm.
The words of my mouth and the meditations in my heart be acceptable.
Which
Oh,
words?
Lord.
My sight. Oh Lord.
Oh my gosh.
My release.
Oh
Yes,
gosh.
Lord.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah.
It's personally ingrained in us to rebel. That's a whole part
Yes.
of life. That's in the whole mythos. You know what I mean? Like, so it's
Mhm.
to us is something that's wild and crazy, but we are supposed to take whatever our parents teach us and take that to the next level. Whatever our parents
Right.
teach us, take it to the next level.
So before
not
we start
supposed to
going
sit
into
there-
the next episode, how do y'all feel about doing an episode on that?
Was it pose the question?
I
What was
mean,
the thing that
You come with it.
your elders
You come
said
with
that
it.
just now came to realize?
Both of y'all were talking at the
You
same
come with
time.
it.
I heard him in my right ear and you barely in my left.
Was that impossible?
Yeah, it's impossible.
Repeat yourself, sir.
We say again. Don't repeat. Say again. Sorry.
As military.
No. That's how you
Say
get
again,
people
sir.
effed up. Okay. we don't need a repeat to the call for fire on that same coordinates. Okay. I literally got yelled at and my ass beat for saying repeat one time on the radio, and it stuck with me ever since. So yeah, say again. Mr. Impossible, can you say again what you said?
What part?
The last thing that you said before you started wiping your nose.
Detail.
I don't recall what I was saying. I was in the moment.
Oh man. All right. Well, I'll go back and look, and I'll refresh your memory. I'll make a little
Okay.
clip of it and send it to you, so that way you know, so you can probably elaborate on it more. Okay. He was like, I was in the zone, bro. I'm sorry. But Mrs. Sigma Uno, what did you say? Because both of y'all were talking at the same time.
So is it a posed question as to a saying or something that one of your elders has said that you are just now getting revelation to?
Yes. With it.
No.
Oh, now you remember? Now you remember?
Mm.
Put your finger up your nose. Go ahead and just get the rest out. Yes. I want to have an episode about the teachings of our parents, the things that we took for granted as they were teaching us, but then we realized later on. So like later on in life, we're like, oh dang, my mother, my father said this or whatever, whoop-de-woo. But at the time, it's like you kind of just let that go in one ear and out the other, or let it go over your head. But then it came back around, and you're just like, I understand that now. Because I'm not gonna lie, there's things that my mom said when I was younger to where in like my late 20s, I was just like, aha. And here I am in my 30s, and I'm still getting some things. I'm like, aha, I know what that means now. After it's beat my backside, throw me in the road, got me ran over by 14 semi trucks, pissed on by 4 dogs, and then pulled up and thrown into the sidewalk. I finally get it now. You know, so
It took you that long.
That
it
was
took
the
a while.
rebellious
Not
side.
Mr. The other guy, what he was saying was we're wired. I remember him saying we're wired
To rebel.
to be deceptive, to be deviant. That's what he was saying, something along that line.
What I was saying, that we were brought up to rebel. You know what I mean? Like the rebellion is just us taking what our parents taught us and take it to the next level.
Kings, queens, gods, and
So-
goddesses. We are rolling into the next episode. We are rolling into
Yeah.
another episode. Do y'all want to do this right now? Do y'all have the time to do this right now?
No, I really don't have the time because I got
Okay.
these grandkids.
All right.
and
Then what we're gonna
and I
do
can't
is we're gonna
go
put a
twice.
pin in it, and what we'll do is we'll
I
talk
know
about
where
it on
I'm
the
at,
back
but
channel. I'm gonna
yeah,
go ahead
let's
and
go.
end this episode, and I'm gonna edit all this out because you know we can get the talking. You know we can get the
I got some
talking.
mess on this one.
Yes, we can get the talking. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is, I'm just gonna close it out because we did closing comments already. This is like the
Mental
most.
health. Hit my song, man.
Okay, because you said so. Which one
Edit
was
me
it?
out. Hit my song, man.
What song was it?
Your intro song. Your intro song is your intro.
Oh, that one? Okay, got you. I got so many songs, bro. I had to ask. I'm like, which one are you talking about?
It's the same thing. Yeah, that's right there. That's the one.
Fragile strength, but we'll find strength. That love's breath.